What's up, kids? Steering column is blown apart, cleaned up, painted, ready for assembly. So one of the first things I'm going to do is we're going to put shifter back in its location. Which it goes like this through here, and what we gotta do is we gotta depress this like detent pin. Gotta press it down and put this all the way through so we can put a cotter pin through there so it hinges. It goes in like so, and so that your holes in the shifter are lined up with the hole, well, in the housing with the hole in the shifter. And things I have it taped up because you have to smack that pin to go through the shifter. Alright, so next, once you have that done, what you're going to do is spring that goes on the end of this. Keep that on there, and you're going to put it in the steering column housing. Now, for me, and I don't know if this applies to you, but when I put this in as a full assembly, once we get that tube down in there, you have to put this bracket on for the column shift, and these go in there. This, why I have it zip tied on there, is that I'm going to put this on prior to putting this tube in there to fit in this bracket. This is what seals up into the cab of your truck that goes on the inside. So, like so. So, take the tube, insert it down in the column, there we go. Alright, so now here's the super tricky part. Once you have that shift tube in, you have to take this, which I put a new bearing in, new hardware, but these, there's two of these. As you can see, they sit right in here. These catch on these little slots on the steering column housing. So you have to take that and also your turn signal switch and harness. Put it through here. I'll leave it out of the way for right now. Take these square bolts and loosely thread them, or thread the nut on, like so. Well, unfortunately the sheathing's not going to fit down in there, so you have to feed these stupid things through one by one because it's a tight space. Alright, well, being so I have to take this thing back apart, I'll show you how much of a bastard this is. So, here you go. And these, you have to make sure they're down like that while you're putting it over this. And while you're doing that, make sure it lines up with everything. You have to push down on this. You kind of have to make sure that it goes straight down without moving those bolts. It is not a fun task, especially doing it by yourself. So, got those. Once you have those in, screw the nuts down. Tighten them up. There you go. You can put, oh, and you have to get this over your needle. There you go. And also, I showed in the last video, I forgot to show it on this, there's a lock. There's a lock tab for the shifter. So you notice when you shift, you have to pull. Well, you have to pull, and that puts the, there's a little fork in there that rides inside that shift lock. That way it's not just freely able to like go into park or slip out of drive and down in the first gear. Like you have to pull up and get past that shift lock to be able to engage like first, second, and then back in the drive. So that's important to have. Mine was broken. Now you can put the steering shaft through. And there's this little C-clip. There's a notch within the steering shaft. And there's a C-clip on the other end of this so it hits up against this bearing. Like so. Now you can put the switch back in its spot. And then put in the 3 fasteners that hold that in. The other 2, actually turn the switch and get to those other ones. There we go. Instead of getting the factory end bushing for this, got the DRB fab bearing. A lot more stout, obviously. Nice billet machined. So there's 3 screw holes on there, and you're gonna line them up with the existing tabs for the stock bearing. They line right up, just like so. A little bit of blue Loctite. There you go.